Discord's talking about weather edges. I don't think there is one. We'll get into it.
Sure.
How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Yourself?
I'm good. I don't know if that sounded convincing.
Well, I'm a little bit
Uh-oh.
I'm a little bit concerned.
About what?
Well, if I keep counting up all of your birthdays, right now I think you're 91 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm getting a little worried about your health.
The best part is the loyalty test of my birthdays in the Discord. Everyone honors my birthday every day. The best is when someone doesn't know what's going on and asks if it's actually my birthday.
It's like reward points almost.
That's right. Played Lexington Country Club yesterday. There you go.
Oh, nice.
I took your tip. I took your watch out tip.
How'd that go?
Pretty shitty. No, it was great. Actually, it was fine. I just wanted to see your reaction. No, it was actually very good.
I mean, it just might mean you're a bad golfer. You know, the tip was good.
No. All right. No recap of Open unless you want to say anything.
No, the best player won, and we can move on.
Yeah. Will Rory ever win another major? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Which one?
Ooh, it's going to be venue dependent, so it's tough for me to say right now off the top of my head.
The Masters is at the Augusta National. Can he win there?
Yeah, I don't see that being the one.
I don't think
so. That was a clue to you that it was one of the other three.
Oh, that's good. You see, you're smarter than me.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to what's that?
Yeah. No, it's just it's what's interesting is how mental those guys can get, you know, and how stubborn they are. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Rory and Bryson and so many of those guys in that wave, I mean, they had 13 guys in the top 20 in the official world golf ranking just get smoked by that weather wave, which has happened. Mm-hmm. And as of this time last week, there was no discernible way to know that weather wave was going to happen. I mean, the peak wind was at 2 p.m. and Rory went off at 10 in the morning, you know, so it's just interesting, you know,
do you buy into because the Open, especially with that weather, the cold, the rain, the week, that's a grind. I mean, these golfers are used to it. They've got a lot of they're acclimated to playing 7 days a week. But that energy, that investment, especially for the guys got close to the end, and then the travel from Scotland, all the media. Do you believe that there's a deceleration and the guys need some sort of break in order to compete again at a high level? Namely, someone like Billy Horschel. Do you believe that's the case?
So,
okay.
I was thinking a lot about this, and I started doing some research yesterday, and I figured you would ask that question or I would be asked that question this week. So I dug into the top 10 favorites for the last 5, the only 5 3Ms, right? Which followed after the Open, I think. And there is no correlation between the best I could figure out is that for every guy that Cam Young last year was the favorite and then he missed the cut and played in the Open and played great in the Open, there was just no correlation between any of that. Some guys had played good in the Open, like a Sung J M. They were a favorite coming into this and they played good again. Finau has tended to play good here no matter what and not necessarily good in the Open. And I mean, I looked at all the years from 2019 to 2023, and I couldn't come up with anything. So I think you're on your own on that one.
Okay.
You know, Finau was a very consistent performer. The other guys, not so much. You know, and if I went through it, and it was very that guy. You know, like Hideki. You know, played great in the Open, came over here, withdrew. You're like, okay, well, yeah, that's Hideki, you know,
right.
So I wanted to write an article on this for Golf Digest, and I couldn't put anything together. So it was like an hour, 2 hours worth of research that didn't really matter, other than to say that I think that if a guy is playing well and he wants to play well this week, whether he was in contention at the Open like Billy Horschel or whether he missed a cut like Finau, I would be more centering my attention around their history here and how well they play here. I think that's what matters most.
I think you're exactly right. I think it's player dependent. And, I used to be a really big advocate of it, especially when they played in Dubai. I used to come over and play Torrey Pines. You couldn't get, further away if you tried.
Yeah.
And Patrick Reed competed well in Dubai and then came over and won at Torrey Pines. I mean, or finished second or did something great. And
yeah,
that's it for me. I mean, it's like either the golfer has the juice or not. These guys are week to week anyway. I can't believe the stuff they do. I can't believe the stuff caddies do day to day, week to week, because this is not a Thursday through Sunday golfing life. This is a Monday through Sunday. They're golfing practice. They're doing pro-ams, mandatory. So.
Yeah. I mean, here's a perfect example. Last year, Royal Liverpool to here. Finau misses the cut over there, comes over here, T7, right? Yeah. Cam Young was the tournament favorite, plus 1,400 coming into this week. He was 8th, and he almost led the field in both off the tee and approach, and he missed the cut.
Right.
Sung J M 20th, missed the cut here. Seb Straka, everybody's darling over there at the Open Championship, right? Last year, he was second, runner-up, missed the cut here. So... Yeah. Okay, so Finau didn't play good there, and he finished top 10 here. And then these other guys, some played good, and then you go a year before that. Finau goes. This is now we're talking St. Andrews. He's 28th. He goes to first. Hideki 68th withdraws. Thigala 34th miscut. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Year before that, the favorite was DJ, of all things. He was 8th at the Open. He missed cut over here. But then Louis was 3rd at the Open and was 2nd here. So where's the correlation? There is none. It's just
there's none. It's player dependent. You never know what's going on in any of these guys' lives. I mean,
to a certain degree, you really don't. And I'm out there and I get to see a lot of the body language and everything. And I'm dying to get back out there again. It's been a little bit, but you can just tell by the way they're like, with the way they're walking around, the way that they're practicing, the way that their practice round is going. Body language is a huge key,
Eric A. is 3 of a birdie fest, unpredictable type tournament. It has been historically. I mean, you're going to get 17 to 20. What was Lee Hodges? 24, 26.
Yeah.
It is. And that's where we talk about Weather Edge in the Discord, because the Weather Edge was a one of the most significant factors. I remember players had a significant weather edge in recent history. Maybe it was the Honda. It was definitely a Florida swing tournament, but the Open this year was incredibly significant. I don't see it in Blaine, Minnesota, not a Twin City. I think it's going to be.
You keep texting me that.
Huh?
I said you keep texting me that. I love it. Not a Twin City. It's great.
It's not a Twin City. It's the biggest lie in TPC golf history.
I mean, that's the biggest lie in TPC golf history.
Let me have
it. How about that they're good golf courses?
Remember our cut line show when I always kept saying, like, so-and-so is the greatest South African golfer of all time, just so we almost had the +5. That would have changed everything.
Oh, man. I thought a lot about that Friday night over a nice little JD on the rocks. And, man, if we had brought that home, that would have been incredible.
Because Im played really well, and he was part of, some winning lineups.
Yeah.
Right. And he was a +6. Regardless. So I think it's going to be, I think talk about going back to Eric A's comment.
Yeah.
The biggest course defense here is a lot of water and wind. And there are some guys who ejecto-cedo Finau in water at very not key times for your lineup. So that is, otherwise it's a fairly straightforward course. They're getting to 20 under in a par 71. There's only 3 par 5s. So
yeah. You've also got 5 par 4s under 425. So that's just like hitting the drive and then tossing it on. The thing is about the wind, right? Last I looked before I came on today here with you, They're expecting 15 to 16 miles an hour out of the south on Friday afternoon. And that's like going to be
higher, right? Even higher, but it's all day almost.
But it is almost all day. I mean, it starts by like 10 a.m. or whatever, which means that like even more than half of the morning wave is going to catch it. But a south wind on that golf course is mainly a crosswind, and maybe that's worse. I kind of don't see it that way. I think that I don't think that's not the. I think everyone's got a little bit of a recency fear from last week and how much it took their teams apart. I mean, look at the guys that went down. I mean, forget the Rory and the Bryson, right? But the Ludwigs, the Akshays, the Thigalas, any of those guys, I mean, 13 of the top 20 players in the world, that was going to affect some lineups, right? And those guys were in that wave. I mean, Rahm was one of the few guys that came out of that wave and did decent. And I think everyone's a little bit too fearful of this. I don't see that being as much of an issue, even with the 15 holes that have water in play.
Yeah, you're going to have 24-mile-an-hour gusts all weekend, all day. Doesn't matter. It's going to be beautiful. It typically is super hot there. It's not going to be really hot. So I think it's going to be nice. You got a decent field. The biggest question, the biggest question for me was,
go ahead,
and I'm not going to weigh it, is, and you answered it, is whether or not you can have any predictability as to whether there's any sort of lag from coming over from the Open or Scotland. The second biggest question is Keith Mitchell. You are 14 weeks Keith Mitchell sober?
16. Yeah, I just got my 4-month coin in the mail.
Are you going 17?
Oh, 100%.
Why? Barracuda sucked. I mean, he didn't make any birdies.
I mean,
he shouldn't be playing in the Barracuda. Keith Mitchell should not be playing in the Barracuda. He is 4th on tour in tee to green. But
I get it. He is a just want to look this up real quick so I quote it correctly, but with all of the conversation around him in these regular events, he has one top 10 since March. Okay. He has 3 top 10s this year. So, I generally look at this from a betting perspective. I just don't see the value there. I would turn it on you. Is there value for him to come in 24th this week at that price in DFS for this tournament? And he was bad last week. He was bad.
Did you see him play Barracuda?
No, because I didn't watch on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah,
he missed the cut by like.
Chad's right. Keith Mitchell also agreed he should be playing there. He's always played 2 rounds.
I mean, didn't, quite frankly, he didn't play there.
To answer your question, no, there's no value in him finishing 24th, especially when one of the guys in his range is probably going to be really successful. The pricing's pretty soft too. No, but I don't think I've seen, especially on tree-lined parklands, America tee to green golf, a guy who's top 5 tee to green, who, like you said, has 2 top 10s and is playing in Barracudas. So his putting has to be so bad because tee to green is incorporating around the green game, right? It means you're getting the ball to the green to closest to the hole better than anyone else on tour. That's Xander. Xander, Scotty Scheffler 1-2, and Keith Mitchell's in the top 5. And this guy can't. It's got to be one of the worst. I mean, can he turn it around on easy greens here at in Blaine, Minnesota, one of the triplet cities?
I mean, we don't make money on just like saying yes, and the guy has lost strokes putting for basically since the dawn of time. I just look at like every chart that every summation chart, right? First of all, there is no grass surface that he putts good on. Number two, Keith Mitchell plays better on what kinds of golf courses? Easy ones or hard ones?
Hard ones.
Hard ones. Why? Because he's such a good driver of the golf ball, because he's such a good, ball striker, right? So in this type of element, he loses all of his edge to like literally guys that are down the board that are $2,000 less on DraftKings. Like, you could take somebody who drives the ball equally as good, like Johnny Vegas, versus Keith Mitchell, and Vegas has a much better chance because he's coming off like 3 top 30s. Like, I get
Mitchell,
the fact.
Statistically, Vince Norman is the worst putter on tour, by the way.
Yeah.
Vince Norman is I'm doing a pick six show at 4:00, and Vince Norman's position is one of the pick six picks I want to make. Vince Norman, the worst on tour. Carl Yuan, second worst. Daniel Berger, third worst. Talk about a great putter at one point, Daniel Berger. But Keith Mitchell's in the bottom quadrant, like top 25 worst putters on tour. No doubt.
And that always boggles my mind, because it's the same thing with like Scotty. Like, Scotty should have won the Open by 5. He couldn't putt at all. He was the worst putter of the guys that made the cut. It was unbelievable.
Except for what happened on 18, which I can't get my head around what happened on 18. Is his back sore? Did he injure himself?
And from what I've heard behind the scenes, no.
Okay.
Right. I have from the guys that were around there after he got done, and people asked him, and he said no. He said no. Okay. He said no. I'm fine. I think his pride was a little hurt, and I think that, if anything, that putter's just getting heavier and heavier. That's what's hurting his back. That's it.
Okay, that may have answered my question.
To answer your question, though,
I just feel like I chase Keith Mitchell because I feel at some point he's going to find a putter again, but maybe not. I don't know if he ever had a putter in his life before, but he seemed to be a really elite golfer at one point.
He won once in 2019.
Fuck, I swore he won more.
Once in 2019.
Okay.
And here's a guy that has been on tour for
a long time.
I mean, this'll.
Russell Henley's won twice in like 17 years.
A couple more times than that, but so he's been on tour since 2017. All right. And he's got like 21 top 10s in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 3 top 10s a year.
Mm-hmm. The same thing kind of you could say for Justin Thomas, because Justin Thomas, in my mind, when he was winning everything, was a decent putter. He can't putt anymore.
I mean,
and everything happens backwards.
It's just so key, right? How is it that JT Poston hits it like he does and has double the amount of wins that Keith Mitchell does?
Look at Brian Gay. Look at Brian Gay, the shortest hitter off the tee maybe ever. And the guy stayed on tour for 25 years and won a lot. He's one of the most underrated putters of all time.
I mean, I don't have a reason why. I mean, like,
okay,
why wouldn't you take Luke Clanton over him right at that price?
Well, I may. I mean, I definitely will take JT Poston. I love JT Poston. JT Poston could fucking score.
Yeah. He just hasn't been ball striking as well as some of those other guys right there. And I'm concerned, looking at that price range, I'm concerned about Keegan doing work these days and not working on his game. Right. I don't know if you caught that. Yeah. So like yesterday, they announced Webb was one of his vice captains. So obviously that was something he's been working on. And then it's not just making that decision and sitting in committees and everything, but then it's like all the media surrounding that, right? All of those obligations. And then when he was over there, I don't know if you saw this, when Xander walked off with Rose in the group on Sunday, Keegan was right there to congratulate him, to say, hey, man, great job. So, like, what was he still doing there, right? Like, he's still hanging around. It seems to me like
he's got some meetings going on.
It just seems, yeah, I mean, and who runs the Ryder Cup, the European Tour does, and the PGA of America does. So, like, obviously the guy he's not going to be over in Europe for a while. So he was over there having meetings about all of this. And he might be a guy that fatigued from over there more so than Billy Horschel, just because Billy Horschel was tired from all those days of work or whatever, but in that section, I still like Clanton. I think that this kid, he's got everything in the world to play for, right? Look at Nick Dunlop. Look what that's done for his life. And any of those guys like Clanton would be like, man, if Nick Dunlop could do it and I used to beat him, then I can do it. And that's the way they think.
The other interesting thing is, we're coming up on the playoffs.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And top 70 FedEx St. Jude, which top 70 basically enshrines your golf career for the next year.
Yeah.
You've got some notable.
Top 70 secures it. Top 50 enshrines it. Right?
What does top 50 give you?
Signature.
Top 70 gets your tour card.
Correct.
And then you've got some notable names here who are playing this week.
On the time.
McNeely, Griot, Luke List, who I like, Davis Riley, your guy, Andrew Putnam, another guy chasing, Keith Mitchell, 75. Do you believe in that narrative?
Definitely. 100%.
You do.
100%. Those guys know exactly where they are. And I think that the guys, there's even drama. If you want to go further back and
Benson, Novak's Andy's guy for sure. Kevin,
you can even go back to Thorbjornsen at 125, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're not inside that 120 by the time they set it for the playoffs, remember Jimmy Walker last year getting ejected from the fall series because you have to be 125 to get into the fall, right? And then get all of those. And then you need to be in the 125 again in order to go and get your card for the next year, right? Assuming that they keep the rules the same, which it seems like from everything I've read is the same. Like you need to be like inside the top 120 by the end of Wyndham. Now, granted, you're not getting the playoffs, but then you're going to get the full fall, all 8 events.
Like the guys who are outside the 125, the notable names, you don't hear from these guys anymore. Harry Higgs, Jimmy Walker, like these guys were tour regulars. There's so many tour regulars that are just gone.
There's a bunch of guys here that, I think that there's all different levels of, and they all know where they are and they all know that that's their job, right? Like if not, they're going Korn Ferry, and Korn Ferry is not the PGA Tour, right? It is a drastic change. And you could ask anybody that's gone down and then comes back up, how hard they fight to come back up. But, even Nick Dunlop, 63rd, right?
Yeah. Harry Hall freaking won in Kentucky, and he's 81st.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ben Cole, 79. Kitayama, 77. Right? Of course, Keith Mitchell's right there. Killer Keith.
Joel Damon, 111.
Joel's way down there, yeah.
You get some names down the board.
Kevin Yu, 85. I'm not sure that Joel Damon's really a name past Netflix, and I love Joel and Gino, but Ben Silverman, a lot of talk around him, 99.
Your boy Adam Svensson, 78.
How about Svensson? How about Rico? Everybody's all over Rico this week. He's 101. These guys would be motivated just like Luke Clanton would be motivated to be ready for the U.S. Amateur, which starts in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like they want to play good right now. How about McClure? Meisner, right? He's 91. Doug Gim, 92. These guys, one of my favorite stories in all of this that I'm monitoring very closely is there's a guy sitting at 60th on that list.
Yeah.
He's not playing this week, but he's 60th.
Spieth.
And it's conceivable to me that enough guys play well this week that he gets pushed down the list 4 or 5 spots. Well, does he not show up to Wyndham in order to secure his spot?
Well, yeah.
Right? Just like JT was doing. Like JT was way out of it. Adam Scott was way out of it last year. And they tried to play their way in. Scott did. JT ended up being 1 spot out, right? Remember the chip in lipped out on the last hole and he collapsed to the ground and everything? Like this, Seamus Powers there this week. He's 65th. Big bad Ben Griffin, 58.
You love Ben Griffin. You're a Ben
Griffin. Like him. I like him on easy golf courses.
I like Sam Stevens.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sam Stevens is a nice play this week for sure.
Well then at the top there, the top owned projections, Finau, Akshay killed people, Finau killed people, Tagala killed people. Those are your top three. With Sam Burns now being expensive and good again, do you believe in any of those four? Finau, Batia, Tagala.
In this research I was doing about the carryover from the Open, Finau was the only consistent one that came over here and played well. All right. Consistently year after year, he played well. His one bad year was 2021, and he finished top 30 here, which again, at being the leader on the DFS board or being the favorite in betting is not great value, but at least he showed up, right? He didn't miss cut. I mean, Thigala's been here 3 times and has 3 missed cuts.
Right.
Say what you want. Like, that would not be.
Have you dug into his rounds? I mean, he's not really super accurate off the tee. And I know that, especially on 18, you can really fuck yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, he all of that great ball striking that he built earlier in the season has been deteriorating. And the scrambling and the putting just hasn't really been there all year, which is why he's top 10ing and not winning. So I would be worried about Thigala.
Yeah.
You got to remember when he came in 4th in Scotland, that golf course, you could hit it anywhere, anywhere. And as proven by a number of the guys in the top 10, the penalty for missing the fairway there was like zilch. Whereas this week it is double bogey. So he would give me pause.
All right. Then who are your top studs right now?
The guys that I like the most, I think that there is, I'll go in order of price as far as on the betting board. I like Tom Hoge.
That was my number one. That was my pick to win on Monday.
Tom Hoge. I don't know.
Can make a ton of fucking birdies.
Well, yeah, but this is, as much as everyone says like, hey, you got to be really good off the tee here. The fairways are wide. It's just when you miss the fairways, you get a penalty. But the fairways are wide enough for a PGA Tour event that it's not like super scary. This is not a U.S. Open lined with lakes, land of 1,000 lakes. It's not. These guys can hit the fairways. So this is like in the research, and I'm sure Andy would have brought this up, but like this is one of the highest correlation courses for like approach play towards success, right? Like it's super, super significant if you're a good approach player in order to pan out your success here.
Yeah,
and
closer to the hole can make birdies easier.
Well, yeah, but that's not always the case, right? The 5 winners have on average, they've gained over 7 strokes on the field on approach. It's never that high.
Mm-hmm.
That is super high. And it's like over 5 strokes with the flat stick. So we got to have both. Now, we always all agree that we would rather have the ball striking and then spike with the putter. So then Tom Hoge is, for me, a play. Tom Hoge is also a play for me because he lives in Fargo, North Dakota. Most people don't know that, right? He lives in Fargo, North Dakota, and he's very good on northern-style golf courses like this. He would like playing up here, right?
Wait, Tom Hoge from Fargo, North Dakota?
He's not from there. That's where he lives.
I don't know anyone who lives in Fargo, North Dakota.
Dude, I mean, I'm just telling you what I know. Okay.
Okay.
Tom Hoge won the 2009 and the 2010 Minnesota State Amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So all the geeks that want to go with agronomy or anything else, does he like this part of the country? Anything? I mean, like Tom Hoge has every reason to come here and play. I mean, some of these guys, Tony Finau's been here 5 times. Only 17 guys in this field have played here all 5 editions. He's one of them. Mm-hmm. So you got to figure that the guy, no tour player would come back. I don't understand why Thigala keeps coming. There's got to be a sponsor thing.
Miscut, Thigala.
If a guy missed the cut, like a favorite like that, missed the cut twice, he'd be gone. There's no way that guy would come back.
He's missed the cut twice, just like the 3 Twin Cities. But Hoagie's been top 5, top 20.
Yep. So anyway, I think you need somebody who can really spike on approach. And obviously Tom Hoge does that all the time. The guy has gained like close to 2 strokes on approach over like the 100 weeks of his career or the 100 events of his career. Like it's pretty unbelievable how good of an iron player he is. And you need a lot of long iron player here. And he could do that too, right? It's not just wedge play, because he wins Pebble Beach or something. Like, the guy is a great, incredible iron player. And he's comfortable up there, as witnessed by, he's, like I said, he won the 2009 and 2010 Minnesota State Amateurs. Like, the guy's been playing golf up there forever. So those are trends and edges that I think make a difference. The second guy is EVR. So I like Van Rooyen this week. Now, his history there is mediocre at best.
Yeah.
But
miscut, 58 miscut.
Yeah. But I also think he's a better player now. So if you look at his second win, since his second win in November, which was a birdie fest, which this is a birdie fest, and people argue over what a birdie fest means. And in my mind, the definition is, if you need over 20 subpar scores in order to win, then that's a birdie fest.
Yes.
Right? Now, you might win at 18 or 17, but these guys, the last 5 winners, they're averaging 23.4 subpar scores for the 4 days. That's a lot of birdies and an eagle, or 2 eagles and a bunch of birdies. That's a lot of subpar scores, right?
Yeah, this is a 21 under win. Which
is 26. So when you look at, since he won in November, EVR has played in 5 more birdie fests, and he's been great in all of them. The worst finish is 25th, but he's got 4 top 8s. And we're talking Myrtle, we're talking Cognizant, we're talking Mexico, Amex. Like, this guy makes birdies. And why? Well, okay, he's a good ball striker, and he's a good putter. He's not a very good short game guy. So you put him on an easy golf course, and he's going to play well. And these are the guys that you want this week, because technically this is a pretty easy golf course. I know everyone gets scared of the water and everything, but like, it's the guys that are contending here play this golf course very easily. Lee Hodges is no world beater, and he shot 24 under last year.
Yep.
Right? Like, he just kind of cruised through that, and no one even had that guy on the radar. Now, granted, he was 80-1, so he had been playing good enough to be in that realm. But, like, think about it. This is not a hard golf course. This is like, again, like a Mexico. Like, think about the parallels with Mexico. Super bombers win there, right? That are great on approach and make a bunch of birdies. Jake Knapp type of thing, right? And this is
Mexico,
a similar
Minnesota. That's what they always say.
This is a similar type of situation. So I like EVR. I mean, you look at the average winning score of those 6 events I was mentioning, it's 22 under par. Right? And he has, so I
don't
eat
eat the shrimp at Fargo.
What's that? Oh, don't eat that. Yeah. Who said that, Spencer?
That's always my calculus, is how long did the creatures of the sea take to get to where you are, right? Kentucky, probably long.
No lobster in Kentucky, right?
Don't eat the oysters in Kentucky, but definitely not don't eat the shrimp in Fargo.
Yeah.
No, I know in your top 5, one of them is going to be Jake Knapp.
For me?
Yeah.
No.
I can edit that later.
No, that's okay. You mentioned him earlier. I also like Big Bad Ben Griffin.
Yes.
Easy golf course, right? Yeah. And there you go. Right. He's another one.
That's 3.
Fifth at the John Deere, right? Uh-huh. Second in Canada. Where else did he play good? Sanderson, RSM.
Easy.
Easy. Amex, Corrales. I mean, this is where his name pops up. And why? Because he's a good approach player. He's a good putter. He's average off the tee, but he'll find a way to get the ball enough in play in order to be relevant here, in one man's opinion. Like if Taylor Pendrith had Tom Hoagie's irons, Taylor Pendrith would win like 3 majors. Like it's like, as good as he putts it and drives it. So,
well, Nick Dunlap played well last week. Nick Dunlap makes a ton of scores. He does really well on easy courses.
He would be somebody that I would be putting in lineups for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about that guy. He's barely inside the top 70.
66.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's got 2 wins. So what does that tell you? That tells you that he played all those signature events this year.
That is crazy to me. That is fucking crazy to me.
But here's why.
2 wins.
Because he wasn't on the tour when he won the Amex, so he didn't
That's
get.
right. It doesn't count.
He doesn't get those points, right?
That's sickening.
I mean, it's the whole Zalatoris thing, right? Like he didn't make the playoffs that year after he was second at the Masters and like second at Southern Hills, and like he's like, sorry,
he's
bud.
played better than Victor Hovland, who's 55th.
Yeah.
All right, that's 3. Is that 3?
No, Dunlop. I just think that Dunlop will continue to play well, and he's got that level of motivation. You're gonna love this next one.
Oh crap! No, you said right. Ben Griffin, Tom Hoagie, EVR. That's 3.
Yep. Is that all you wanted? 3?
No, I want 4. I want 5. Not 10.
Oh, 10 is a stretch for any field, right?
Okay. Go ahead.
But another guy that I like this week, based upon his T16 at the Open Championship, is buoyed by his putter and his iron play at the Open Championship.
I'm trying to think.
T16.
Just give it to me.
What do we got here? You control it. Our boy Mac Hughes.
Okay. Mac Hughes really surprised me at the Open. Only because he's extremely inconsistent off the tee. And that dude showed up. He's an incredible putter.
I mean, if everyone in your lineup is just a good ball striker and you're waiting for the putter to go nuclear, then I feel like you're not diversifying your portfolio well enough, right? At some point, you got to have some great putters that have been showing recently that they can actually strike the golf ball, and Mac Hughes is the reverse of that.
You know who Mac Hughes reminds me of? But this guy may be a better putter even than Mac Hughes.
Oh, Duke. What?
Zach Blair. Zach Blair's putting really well.
So the thing with Zach Blair, he always putts really well, and he drives it really straight.
Right.
He makes a lot of cuts and everything, but he
should have won the ISCO.
Yeah, Zach Blair is really good on harder golf courses. If you look at his track record, he tends to top 20 and make cuts at places where you think like, man, I've never heard of this guy, and the field is strong and it's a hard golf course. I think this is too easy for him. So we're talking a lot about FedEx Cup points. There's another points list that's out there that's really, really important to Mac Hughes, and he is not doing very well on it. He's 16th in the President's Cup.
Yep.
EVR is 18th in President's Cup, right? So, I mean, Mac Hughes would love to be playing in Royal Montreal. So,
Ghost Jam, don't do this on my birthday. Like, he always gets mad when you ask me to guess, and my brain doesn't work that way because I have ADD, and I'm always like spiraling somewhere else. So,
well, that's because
of course he knew.
I'm watching the Discord right now, and he and I are texting off to the side how we can mess with you. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course.
So yeah. So
who's number 5? McNeely.
No, I see. I am now on like a month free of McNeely.
Okay.
So we're gonna keep riding that trend. So I'm not. I think that Maverick McNeely will play very nicely there this week, and certainly he could win or whatever. But he gives me no reason to think that that's all of a sudden just going to happen, right? There are other places. I mean, he burned us all at John Deere. He burned us all at Rock. I mean, like it's just been a lot, you know. And he comes in with carrying a lot of value, and he's not living up. They're carrying a lot of expectations in value, and he's not living up to that.
Right.
So that little chart, like how do you perform against your number? I mean, he's got to be somebody that's just doesn't cut it for us.
You hate M golfers. You hate Keith Mitchell. You hate Maverick McNeely.
I just picked Mackenzie Hughes.
That's an H golfer. I hate H golfers.
Oh,
see what works.
That might be true. M golfers. I have to think
them
about
all.
That. I like M States, Minnesota. We'll give them props.
Okay. Don't think Kelly Craft is your fifth.
No, I'm not going to bring out Kelly Craft this week.
Yeah.
No, not further down the board. The 6K in this thing is like
it's rough.
Putrid. Oh my goodness.
Right.
It is rough.
The only one they thought you would maybe take a stab at in the sub 7 range was Kelly Craft. And I thank you for not doing that.
I have one sub 7 because I'll always give you somebody in the basement that I'm leaning on.
Is this part of your 5?
No, definitely not.
Give me part of your 5, and then we'll go to sub 7.
All right. My next two, one's going to be chalky, and then the other one is not chalky at all. But I've got a guy. We'll see how good Ghost Jammed is. I got a guy at 6,400. That
okay. There you go, Ghost Jam. Hey, Big Brain, who is it? Yeah, Mega Mind. This one, I know exactly who it is. Vegas.
The chalky guy is Vegas for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think that he's got 2 wins in Canada. He's got another win at the Amex, right? He's good on easy golf courses. He likes northern grasses. This is a place like, when he plays good at the Honda, whatever, like Keith Mitchell, he can take over with his driver and then go from there. Obviously, there's a blueprint for that with Cam Champ and
you're kind of
Tony.
a Woo guy, but you're a Dylan Woo. So I'm not saying it's Brandon Woo.
No, I'm not.
Joe Highsmith, right? You're a Highsmith guy.
If I go Wu-Tang, I definitely go Dylan more than I go Brandon. Brandon, the only place to play Brandon Wu is Mexico. But
this is the Mexico of Minnesota. Right?
I mean, it was just an anecdotal analogy there. I'm not
right.
I'm not going to take the whole entire leaderboard from there and say Akshay's winning this thing.
Right.
It's just the type of golf that needs to be played in order to succeed.
Barry you said Bryce Garnett. You better not say Bryce Garnett.
No, and everyone's going to think that because of his history there, but it's not Bryce Garnett. This other person is
terrible at golf.
No.
I mean, I'm looking at the range. You got very.
Oh no! Well, you're talking about the 6,400 guy. I thought you were talking about the 5th guy.
Oh, who's the 5th guy first? Right.
The 5th guy that I like is he starts with initials. We've already talked about. What's that?
ADDC?
No, he starts with initials. And he wears bad golf shirts.
Don't say Duffy. This will get Kevin Fowler all worked up.
No, it's not MJ Duffy.
Well, who is it then? There's no one else.
Spawn.
He's not 6,400.
No, there's 2 different conversations going on right now. Keep up. Ghost Jam,
my
please.
brain is working right now.
Right? You asked me for 5 guys. He was my 5th.
It was a test. You passed. Fine. You're good.
And then the other one was you asked me. Well,
okay. So JJ Spawn's your 5th.
Yes.
Griffin, Hughes, EVR, Hoagie, Spawn. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spawn and Vegas are kind of interchangeable, but I like the way Spawn's hitting the golf ball. And this would be the type of place where he would play well because he's a great long iron player, great hybrid player. He's very good from long range, very good approach player. And he's been gaining with the putter a little bit lately. So he comes and goes in his career. And he's in town. He's in Blaine, Minnesota, the 3rd of the Twin Cities. So
he's 146 on the FedEx Cup standings.
Yeah, that's not the play here for him. The play here for him is that he might be fighting for 125. That's fine. But like he's had a below average season and he's just gone, T10, T23, T45, T29. He's been playing a bunch of weeks in a row. I like him to show up.
Ghost Jam says Tway, final answer, 6,400. It ain't Tway.
Nope. The 6,400 guy has something in common with me. That's a big hint.
From New Jersey.
Well, let's just play all the 6,400s. No. But you have a great audience here at RPS. I love these guys.
They made you do Stuart Sink?
Correct.
Yeah. We got it? Is that the right answer?
Stuart Sink.
So you're 75.
Years old? No.
Stuart Sink is Stuart Sink's born in 75.
Look at your screen. God, you are like, honestly, you are ADD. Look at your screen.
73. What?
No.
You said play all the 6400s? Malnati?
No.
What are you talking about?
I said that the guy in 6400, my hint is that he and I have something in common.
And I said Stuart Stink because you're the same age. You're like, yes, that's it. You got it.
No, I am Keith Stewart. He is Stuart Sink. They're the same name. Wasn't hard.
Okay, something about me is that very simple concepts go way over my head. Nathan, you have an example of one. Like, what was this? Like the stupidest, easiest thing I could never figure out for 25 years. And very difficult concepts. I make everything way too difficult.
Daylight savings.
Huh?
All right. So yeah, I think that there's a.
Yes, the only movie plot I understand is the plot to Home Alone.
Plot to Home Alone. All right. Interesting choice.
Yeah, that's it. So Stuart Sink, there you go.
Yeah. That's the only guy I could really dig out of the sixes. Maybe
That's
Ben
it?
Bowles or something,
Yeah, it's tough. Kevin Chappell's been playing okay. Kelly Craft, no. Zach Johnson, never again. Troy Merritt.
I mean, Justin Lauer, you could justify that.
He was kind of a hot take a little while ago, but really, hasn't kept up.
But he never really, even when those weeks we were betting him, he still finished between 40 and 60.
It wasn't great.
He never really did anything. And that's disappointing. I mean, when you go 50, 25, 73, 67, we expect a little more out of you. That's right. All. DFL at the JDC for making the cut. Not going to do it. It's not going to.
I do believe I'm going to play Zach Blair for sure. I
don't think it's a bad play. I'm not sure what his ceiling is.
I read this as something else before, but now I see what you mean here. Thank you, Matty Fields. I had one letter interchanged here, and I was like, why did he say that? Not that it's not true. Do you believe a couple of vanilla golfers show up like a Streelman or a Laird? Seem to have good form here. Kind of a
sure. I just don't think that it's Streelman or Laird.
Right.
Is that safe to say? Could be Stuart Sink.
Well,
I think that if you're in reasonably good form and you're a great driver of the golf ball and you can be that Martin Laird type of guy. You know what I mean? You can really put yourself in a position to score here, and you're going to have to score. And if you've been on tour as long as those guys have, then they know how to do that. But I'm not sure. There got to be better questions about lineups.
Justin Suh. No, I don't see it. I don't like Justin Suh this week, personally. Keith may have a different take.
No thanks.
No thanks. Andrew Putnam, yes. 7K. Yeah.
He's been I had him on my fantasy team, and I haven't played him in in months. The last time I brought him up was API. He top 10, and I don't know what happened to that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, your winner.
I mean, he was Andrew Putnam. Putnam has to play well. He's right on the 70.
That's where I'm at with Andrew Putnam. I mean, he's right there.
Yeah. So
Kevin Yu is right there. Adam Svensson, right there.
Yeah, Svensson really needs to.
Keith Mitchell, right there.
Yeah. Svensson, being a bad putter, Spawn being a below average putter, those types of guys, this golf course, you can make putts over 10 feet. They are not the most complicated greens in the world. These are the types of places that they're going to spike, like Svensson winning at RSM. The ball striking is always there. And these places that allow these guys that are just below average or average putters to make more putts and see the ball start going in, their ball striking is so good that they can just go nuclear. So
yes.
That's where I'm at.
Then who's your winner?
My winner went to the University of Minnesota, which is the campus there is about 20 miles away from the third city of Minnesota, which is Blaine. And He also won the Minnesota State Amateur in 2012. And he recently won in November at the Worldwide Technologies Championship, and he dedicated his win to his recently deceased college golf teammate. And now he's coming back to Minnesota for the first time since that person passed away. So I think that Eric Van Rooyen has a lot of inspiration, and he'll have a ton of fan support. And he's on a Birdie Fest course, which already suits him. If this was, Muirfield Village, then I would not be going down this road. But I think that there's a lot of reasons why he could win this week. So that's where my head's at.
I'll take Hoagie. I'll take your Hoagie.
Okay. Makes sense.
I'll stick with it. I think you make a ton of birdies.
Yeah. I wouldn't put, we opened with the question of if someone played bad last week and they're coming here, but they've been playing good recently, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in last week. Because they were in the bad weather wave or whatever you want to call it, Hoagie had a bad Sunday. So what, I think he'll get it done.
So EVR Stewart Sink. I'll go Hoagie and cheaper one is Zach Blair.
All right.
In the range under 7K that really doesn't have a lot of options.
7K.
No, and on the sub 7K range.
Oh, 7, yeah.
I do like Sam Stevens sneaky too.
Oh, sneaky definitely.
Sam Stevens.
Definitely.
Could smash the ball, right? I mean,
very much so. Yeah. OSU Cowboy for sure. Yeah, he can get it done. Yeah.
All right. Who wins the Olympics?
Which event?
I don't know.
Golf. Basketball.
No. 400 meter women's swimming. Relay.
Katie Ledecky.
That's good.
Three other women.
200K deadlift.
I didn't know the Olympics were coming up. I mean, I watched Peacock and NBC all weekend, and I was like, man, are they going to cover the Olympics?
Usually they're slamming it, like the redundant ad for the Olympics. I haven't seen anything. Oh, I thought maybe it's already started.
No, I'm being facetious there. It was over the top how bad it was.
I never saw anything. Well, I didn't see much. I didn't watch Peacock. I watched more YouTube.
Oh, yeah, then you're not going to see it there. But on NBC's coverage and which, hey, I'll leave you with this.
Yes, sir.
The majors where Bryson was in contention on Sunday exceeded their audience size from a year ago considerably. And the ones where Bryson wasn't featured on TV, it didn't. Yeah. There you go.
He's eyeball test. He's good.
And right now that Trump video has like 4 million views or something like that.
I watched it.
It's great.
It's great.
It was.
I mean, was it Bedminster? What course were they playing?
Well, Trump Bedminster has 2 golf courses. There's an old and a new. They were playing the new, and I love how Trump throws it in there. He's like, Fazio did this. It wasn't Tom Fazio. It was Tommy Fazio, his nephew. That golf course.
This is a really tough hole, and it's like a 210-yard par 4. Bryson's like, cool. Here's 6 iron.
Yeah. I mean, Trump helped him make a bunch of scores there. You got to give the guy credit.
No, his swing was great. I mean, unless he took a million different shots, right, on camera.
No, I think that thing's legit. I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good wedge player. He had better wedge shots than Bryson did.
In many cases, yes.
In many cases.
That putting stroke, I had to stop watching though because that was like, whoa.
Can't putt for shit. But the guy is on that course like that. He can easily a 4 handicap.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
I mean,
and Bryson may be just one of the nicest people on earth. I've just come to conclude that.
Well, he even when he's hitting his own shots, and there was like one hole, I can't remember what hole it was. It's on the front 9. It was like 315, and he downgraded the 3-wood. And as soon as he hit it, he's like, "Oh, that's another great shot." Now he's the one hitting it, but even though he's being complimentary of himself, it's just like it came across as like he was having fun.
Fine, yes.
And it wasn't like like I like it's all about me type of thing. It was like he was like making it fun, and I mean he was with like the most narcissistic person in the world, and he made that guy seem like just a little bit normal, which is really good. It's like, I mean, it was really, really good. And I mean, the amount of people watching this thing is absolutely unbelievable.
It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's more popular than the Haktua girl. It's crazy.
We never mentioned Adam Hadwin, but maybe we'll not mention Adam Hadwin. A lot of people like him.
There's a lot to like when Adam Hadwin's on an easy golf course. I didn't bring him up because I'm concerned about his recent form. There's another guy from Canada that would be, like when you think of Canadian golfers over the PGA Tour the last 5 years, you're not thinking of Adam Svensson and Taylor Pendrith. You're thinking of Mac Hughes, Corey Connors, and Adam Hadwin, right? And you're not even thinking of Nick Taylor. Those are the three guys you're thinking of. And if those guys can't work their way onto that team in Royal Montreal, they're going to be super disappointed. Now, granted, they'll be assistant captains or whatever, but like those guys have to be really grinding right now, super hard. And those points run out at the BMW. So like, this is it, man. Like this week and then in 2 weeks at the Wyndham are huge opportunities for them to do something. And we'll see what happens,
All right, brother. EVR.
Love it.